This channel is for immature audiences only. It is not for children, only for childish adults. We might play some video games that kids also like, but we say words like fuck and shit with alarming frequency and make crude, inappropriate, and morbid jokes all the damn time. Level 0 NPCs assumes no responsibility if your idiot spawn watches this and gets traumatized.
Oh, we're back, motherfuckers.
We are back.
We're back with a comment for glory from our good friend Spivey Lou.
It's the Spivey Lou, Spivey down the Spivey. Do.
Spivey gets her own custom Matt theme song.
You'll be happy
right.
to know that I was thinking of you the other day, Spivey Lou, because I was watching Reacher on Amazon Prime. My dad's a big fan of the Jack Reacher novels, so I checked it out, and there's an evil prison guard named Spivey. And every time they mentioned him, I was like, Spivey Lou!
That's great.
You'll be happy to know, Spivey, that he's horrible and he dies.
Whoa, spoilers!
It's just, like, he doesn't seem like someone that would live when you meet him.
I heard it's quite faithful to the material.
To the novellas?
To the novellas, yeah.
I like that they just got the biggest guy they could find to be Jack Reacher.
Yeah,
The
Is
largest
that his
available man.
thing? I feel like the only Jack Reacher property that I've seen was, like, played by fucking Jim from The Office or something like that.
Oh, you're thinking of the other guy. I know what you mean.
Jack Ryan?
John Krasinski, yeah, Jack Ryan from the Ryan-verse.
Yes. Oh, so Tom Clancy just names all of his protagonists Jack. Is that how that works?
Oh,
are they
Reacher
Tom Clancy
is,
novels or
No, Reacher is the other guy, Lee Child.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom Clancy has like 20 people as well, so.
More of Tom Clancy's stories are in a shared universe than I realized.
Oh, yeah?
Because I learned a lot about the Ryan-verse watching the Jack Ryan series.
Oh, really? Yeah?
You'd never know it from watching the show, but that guy becomes president later.
Jack Ryan
And
does he?
I could not draw a line from A to B. Like, it's not that he's a handsome veteran. That's a reasonably good presidential material there. But I was baffled to learn that.
I was baffled.
The show's got some more groundwork to lay if it's going to take him to that point.
All right, you guys want to hear Spivey's comment for glory?
I do. Let's hear it. Let's have it.
This is stuff we kind of knew, but I'm gonna read it anyway because it's good. Word of God is that Shadows of Darkness was supposed to be the third game, as you probably remember from the little blurb at the end of Game 2. But not only was the hero not advanced enough to tackle what was happening in Mordavia, but he actually wasn't quite ready to be friendless and isolated just yet. So they put another game in the middle and waited for him to be in a land where literally everything was the worst until Game 4. You guys probably already knew that. We did. But you were talking about literally everything in Mordavia being a problem. And I think it's amazing how that concept was planned as early as 1989, and the designers were willing to reroute to achieve it. Absolutely. They did it. They did it. Mordavia is a fucking horrible place.
Mordavia is the geographic equivalent of a bag of shirts found on the side of the road.
Bag of shirts.
Interestingly, that plan, because of Spike's comment, that plan is as old as I am. Because I, too, was planned as early as 1989.
So, okay. Joseph Davies says, question for Crawl!
There's something...
Crawl. Go on.
If you were in charge of editing the Crawl director's cut, which totally hypothetical scenes would you want to be sure to restore to the film? Oh, this is a great one.
I would probably include all of the other takes of the Cyclops being crushed so that sequence goes on for an hour.
Like with him screaming, like actively screaming
Take
and
a
stuff?
drink of the cool.
Yeah, I'd slow the door
Tastes
down
like wild strawberries.
to about like 1% of its current speed. And they'd all try like a lot of different things, and like the protagonist would like give up and become overwhelmed by tears, and then they'd rally and try again, and Rel is just being crushed the whole time.
Why do you hate Rel so much?
I don't. I just think that I just want more Rel in it, but I don't want to add any scenes before that.
I want to add the scene of the guy who falls off the bridge when they're storming the castle, just so we can see who the fuck he is. Also,
well, we worked that out. Man. Like, you were there. I did watch Krull. Now about a week and a half ago, I picked it up online. I am now a legal owner of a copy of Krull, and I watched the whole damn thing. And it was a relatively high definition version as well. And so, through process of elimination, we managed to Alex and I muddle out that it was, and now I have to go back and look. But
I'll grab their names. It was one of the two whip-wielding brigands.
Yeah, it was Menno or Darrow, and I'm trying to remember which one it was. But in the credits, the actor playing that character is credited with the other name. Their names are backwards in the credits, but in the show, so like they were fucked from beginning to end. They got the fucking
Holy
rusty hatchet
shit.
for deaths.
You guys really fucking worked this out. You figured out where each of those bandits died.
Yeah, so some of it was easy because we know that Quain, the archer, I believe Quain dies in the quicksand.
That's right. No. Nennog dies.
Nennog, the net guy. Yeah, Nennog in the quicksand. Quain dies in an ambush.
Yeah.
Torquil
survives.
Yeah, Torquil lives.
Keegan Neeson dies in the arms of his comrades.
Yeah.
And Bardolph is the guy who gets impaled in the Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah, that guy. There's one room that just impales you, and one guy gets slowly impaled. That's another scene I would add. Is I would make that scene way, way longer, so much longer.
You are exhausted.
Confusingly long. It's already confusingly long, but I'd really triple down on that.
Well, then I'd like to see Darrow fall from that bridge, land safely in some water, and get up and continue to try to get in the castle until it disappears.
He's already in the castle. That's even better. Like, just have him fall for ages till he gets bored. He's just falling and falling, and then he somehow survives in water or something like that. And while he's climbing back up, everyone else escapes and the castle disappears again, and he's just alone in the castle with the dead beast.
Oh, yeah. You know what we need, too? We need a scene at the very, very end of the movie where Lissa turns around to the bandit guy, to Torquil and Colwyn, and says, "I'm pregnant!" That's it. Credits.
So, to the premise of the question, one scene in the director's cut that I would like to bring in is a moment of, like a moment between everyone arriving after the fire mares and Rel appearing. Or maybe a moment of Rel just kind of like having some conflict about whether he should go or not, because like they probably could have turned and seen him coming with the amount of time that it took for him to get there.
I love Krull so much. But Rel's arrival on Fire Mare back to hold that door is one of the worst executed things in cinematic history. It's like it's so bad as to sink the rest of the film around it. Like, the first Firemare sequence, when they all arrive on Firemares, they're just standing in the saddle like assholes with shittily green-screened sky wishing past behind them, and the Firemares are just Clydesdales. It's rough. That whole scene is rough. But then when Rel appears later on one additional Firemare, just kind of out of nowhere and instantly, it's the funniest shit you'll ever see. It's like...
Okay, so I know...
Nothing we could make up about this movie could be as stupid as that scene.
I know that there's a big chunk of you that whenever we get to the questions for Krull, you guys just tune out or you keep going forward. No, do yourself a fucking favor and watch this movie. If you like this channel... It was
worth the, like, $10 I spent to own a copy, if I'm being honest.
You can find it for less than that.
Jumping back to the two whip wielders, Darrow and Menno, they die one right after the other. One gets shot right before they try to cross the bridge, and the other one is the one I keep referencing who dies in the wide shot. It's
also well on the bridge, yeah.
It's difficult to say which is which, because one of them is uncredited, one of them is credited wrong, and... neither are given.
I don't think they're ever referred to by name either. Like, I have to rewatch it and see if anyone ever says the names Darrow and Menno. Because I'm under the impression that they got them credited wrong. Like, because nobody bothered. Like, they probably just both had the same script and say, one of you read this line.
I also own Krull in quite high quality, and the highest quality versions of Krull that exist. The first one who dies is the only one you can see his face, and you can't see it well. And even if you can see his face and recognize the actor, it's actually difficult to be certain who is who. Because
the defining trait is that gray fur cloak that he wears. Like, that the guy in the gray fur cloak is the one that got shot off of the bridge in the wide shot.
Yeah, if you watch this movie, guys, and you get to the end and you are confident who dies in the wide shot, let me know, because I'm dubious about it. The cloak is visible, so whoever wears the cloak, but, like, I'm not confident that there wasn't a wardrobe mix-up.
You have
either.
returned to this wonderful place between worlds.
What are we doing in the game?
Of being truly alive. You find yourself dancing at the heart of the cosmos.
We're having our own Krull moment.
The universe swirls with you and around you.
I would not give Menno or Darrow any more screen time, because I like how unclear it is, and I really like the guy who dies in the wide shot. Like, it's such a... I find it's a great, like, artistic representation of the cruelty of the universe, how small and insignificant we all are.
The voice calls again, and you feel trapped, helpless. The closer you get to that voice, the greater the fear. It is a voice of pain, a voice of death.
Oh, shit.
You flee in terror.
I would add 6 or 7 more people who try to assassinate Colwyn and fall in love with him and then die.
You wake in a cold sweat.
A lot of them.
You remember every detail of the nightmare as though it had really happened to you.
So I crunched the numbers after watching Krull, and I have questions and or objections about the Firemares, if I'm being honest.
No shit.
More questions for Krull from inside the house.
Yes, the call is coming from inside the house. Because, so, alright, it was like noonish before they went to get the Firemares, right?
Real quick. This is going to be so exhausting to the people who already don't like questions for Krull, because now we're asking the questions ourselves and then answering them. But please go on, I want to hear this.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was like noonish, maybe. It felt like it was maybe even later, because, so they went to the Spider Queen to get information about where the castle was going to appear next, right? So let's be, like, generous and say that, you know, all of that happened in the early morning, and that, you know, they, despite the fact that they obviously, like, filmed it maybe noonish or later, that it was still morning roughly, when they got on the fire mares and left, right, to go to the castle. So they said it was like 1,000 leagues. And I mean, maybe they were being hyperbolic here, but like 1,000 leagues, and they said that like that is no problem for fire mares. Okay, that's great. So they can go very, very fast. But 1,000 leagues, that's 3,000 miles. And it like generously they were traveling for 18 hours. Maybe.
There's some time zones that they would have had to go through.
If we accept that they'd set out a full 24 hours, so on sunrise of the day before the castle moved again, which they definitely didn't, they still would have been traveling over 125 miles per hour on unsecured saddles.
Yeah.
Like standing up on the backs of the fucking like fire mares.
Yeah, they were. There's this scene, not long, but longer than you'd want, where all the characters are just shittily green screened on these horses, standing in the saddle and laughing like assholes.
Okay,
apparently for 24 hours, traveling at like Mach 5.
All right, guys, seriously, where's the problem here?
But you really can't.
I mean, that's shit your pants fast when you're in a closed cabin.
No. Well, also, speaking of shit, you'd have to take one en route because it's 24 hours. Did they just, like, shit side saddle? Like, lean over the end and just splatter the earth as it fell away beneath them?
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Did the magic of the flying horses not work out in your brain for you? I'm sorry.
Here's my beef with the magic of the flying horses, right? The castle moves, and it's hard to attack because it moves.
Yes.
But it moves in a quasi-random way to a random place every time. And those fire mares were one of the weakest parts of the movie, and they had to have known that, right? Like, when they were shooting it, they had to have known, like, this isn't working out. And
yeah.
There's a really simple solution to that, which is to just have the castle appear less far away. Because all of these things are made up. They're all imaginary, and they all work however you tell us that they work.
It didn't need to be 1,000 leagues away.
It could have been
very far.
Away, 1 mile. And if you don't know what direction it is in a mile, you'll probably never find it. So, yeah. They could have just had it be less far away, somewhere they could all run to.
80 leagues!
You know what? I fucking loved the fire mare scene.
I feel bad for whichever fucking, like, poor Clydesdale got jump kicked in the side during the filming of that movie.
Yeah, there was so much... So there were stuntmen jumping around on rocks and, like, leaping onto the backs of these, like, terrified horses. And
I know.
You could watch the scenes and maybe convince yourself that none of the animals were seriously hurt, but they were at least seriously afraid. Like, horses are not actors. Those horses were having such a bad time.
Now, absolutely, that could be a problem. That's a problem I would have with it. Yeah, but in general, I thought that was a fucking awesome plot device. I really did. Well, I think it was just stupid enough. It was just it was perfect. It's just what we needed.
There's it's one useful thing about them is that they're a magical device that can move things around, which narratively is useful because you can have Rel the Cyclops get left behind and then still appear later, right? Because you have this way to move people around by magic. It does mean that Rel somehow decided to stay behind, thought about it for a while, then decided, no, I should catch up, then rode for 24 hours, then arrived in the nick of time.
Okay, but, like, picture this happening. Break this down like a D&D game, okay? If you guys were storming a castle and you had, like, a major NPC who was like, I need to go die, sorry. I can't go with you. And you're like, that sucks. And then he showed up. That's pretty great. You'd go, that's fucking awesome. Maybe later you'd go, how the fuck did he get there? But,
I think your logic is spot on there. Because I think that's the state that the writers were in. They were making something they were excited about, and their enthusiasm for this project is clear. Because it's one of those movies, someone really had to champion it to get it made, and even then it only barely got made. So the version of this in their head is that it would be awesome to have these horses, and it would be awesome to have Rel show up when he got left behind. It's just that it should have been clear that it wasn't working in the compositing phase. And like a half day of reshoots could have fixed that.
That's so expensive.
Yeah, I guess they weren't going to get those people back.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
A lot of those people were dismissed, like the gnome's voice actor, and were lost on the astral plane and never worked again.
So yeah, hey, whoever was giving us dislikes in Quest for Glory 3 of us grinding and doing this the whole time, this is like the first episode where we've really done this. So
yeah, and I mean, we wouldn't have if not for Katrina telling us we need to grind our skills before she will let us continue the plot. So.
Thanks, Katrina. Oh, hey, by the way, we have Idris gave us a quest for better jokes. All right. A horse walks into a bar. The bartender asks if the horse is an alcoholic, considering all the bars he frequents. To which the horse replies, "I think not." Poof. The horse disappears. This is the point in time where all the philosophy students in the audience begin to giggle as they're familiar with the philosophical proposition of cogito ergo sum, or I think, therefore I am. But to explain the concept beforehand would be putting Descartes before the horse.
Ba-doom boom.
Nicely done, Idris. It is unfortunately kind of a visual pun on the spelling of the name Descartes. Which, well,
I don't know. Matt did it. Matt did the heavy lifting. It worked.
I think he pulled it off. Yeah. What I like though is that like you have to read it and think about it, and it will be a third level of confusing if you hear it spoken instead of reading it. It's got so many layers. I love it.
I honestly, my delivery was not the best. I don't know if I got the Latin right, but you know what? That's fine. You know what?
It's the name Descartes that's spelled Descartes.
Descartes before the horse. You know, it's a good joke, Idris. I'm sorry we slaughtered it. You had to know we would read it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no way you told us that joke if you didn't want us to drag it out on screen and beat it to death for your enjoyment.
I know. We got Spivey Lou at the start, and we got Idris at the end, and the rest of this episode was just fucking Krull.
Just Krull. All Krull all the time.
Hope you liked it. Hey, if you guys don't like Krull or don't want to hear any more about Krull,
fuck off.
I was gonna say write it in the comments below.
Nope. If you don't like Krull and you don't want to hear about it, eat shit. That's what I say.
We need to do a Pork Futures about Krull, though.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we definitely need to give this more screen time. I want to do like a multi-season podcast just about Krull. I want to get surviving actors.
You could do it, man.
I want actors. I want to talk to production crew.
Oh shit, man! I bet we could get somebody. Fuck, like we all love. Like, okay, Luke, you watched Krull. You don't have nostalgia for it. Do you?
No,
at least love
it was great. No, I liked it. I'd watch it again. I would talk about it on a podcast.
I only watched Krull a couple years ago. It had been out for years and years. But like the kid who played Titch, Graham McGrath, still an actor. Let's get him as a co-host. Let's just get him for every episode.
I would love, I would love to get it. Maybe we'll get Liam Neeson.
Oh man, never.
You get enough episodes in, he might. You get enough episodes in, he might feel like
this is a little too easy now.
Like he had he was missing out,
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's a really good sport. I don't know. Maybe he'd be way into it.
Your legs are too.
Maybe he'd be like, "Oh, Krull, I remember that."
Maybe he's got really fond memories of working on Krull, and he's a little sad that nobody ever asks him about it.
I just, in my heart of hearts, I feel confident that he hates it, and wouldn't want to talk about it. He and Robbie Coltrane both.
Shit.
Titch, the kid.
Titch the kid. Yeah, I would actually die to talk to Alan Armstrong, who played Torquil, because that guy is fucking great. I fucking love him in everything he's in, and I guarantee you, he's just one of those character actors. He's been in fucking like tons of British shit,
and Torquil's excellent.
And Torquil's fucking awesome. I fucking love this guy. I'd love to talk to him. He's awesome.
Speaking of animal cruelty, I think I've mentioned this before on this show, but like, there's a scene, we were talking about the horses just now, and there's a scene where the shapeshifter finally turns into something useful and becomes a tiger to protect Titch.
Oh god, yeah,
and
that was fucking tragic, man.
It's shit you never see in movies anymore, but it's just a heavily sedated tiger and a small child on screen being filmed.
You want to talk to Graham McGrath about what it was like to work with that tiger, don't you?
You are so
I feel like probably the answer is that he was a really small child. Like, he was just a kid, and it was like a moment of his life where he was in a room with a really super sedated tiger. Or maybe it wasn't sedated. Maybe it was just, it was well trained enough to just lie there. But like, it's curiously still in the shot and breathing like a sedated animal. And I feel like they just tranked the hell out of a tiger for the show.
No danger, but even so, you find yourself afraid.
I'm sorry, I didn't think there would be another cutscene in here.
I was the pilot. I sought to drive back the at last.
Piotr always appears when you least expect him.
This is the same damn thing, though. No, I got this part.
We know this shit.
I did. I even showed him the fucking sword. What do you want from me?
To this town is secure.
Can we banish him to oblivion with the other dead people that we killed?
I don't think so.
Go,
if the sword
go
didn't
find
do
a gravestone and beat it with a broom like the last one.
But
that's
like,
how you kill ghosts.
If showing him the sword didn't do it, I don't think anything is. I think he's just.
I mean, maybe I have to go inside and give him the sword or something like that. I'll try it next game day. But.
All right. Okay. Fuck this. We're done. Thanks, everybody. Stay cool. Stay calm. Stick and stay.
Yeah.
Stick and stay.
You know. Stick and stay.
Or don't.
Graham McGrath, man. He's still kicking. Look at him.
Oh, yeah. Still an actor. He's got a website. Check him out.
Wow. You go, dude. You go, dude. Dude.
Go, dude.
Go, dude.
Man, I bet that tiger had a sad life.
You are flying in the very
We're gonna have to
source
find
of
out.
all magic.
Let's get the tiger on the podcast.
Power and the
Honestly,
knowledge of
I think we should do a podcast
You
because that's
create
basically what we do
flowers
anyway. We
dancing
should do a
around.
podcast on 80s and 90s
Trees fill
movies.
their branches with magical fruit as you
I mean,
touch them.
I'm in the
Dance in
process of
perfect
finally
very
editing
calm, self-radiant
um,
peace and harmony.
Pork Features
You sing
episode
the
2,
message
which
of your
is
heart.
70s movies,
The
to be
magic
fair.
echoes
But
of
But that's
song
hilarious
of
that we
love
decided to
and
do 70s movies. Something that we
Then you
actually know
realize
very
that it
little
is
about.
not
Those two 70s
But we didn't
movies.
decide
Someone
to.
else.
Just the conversation naturally somehow, devolved into discussion about,
You hear that voice calling you
blimp
again.
robbery, and so we ended up watching.
Surrounds you.
We ended up watching two,
The voice calls
Goodyear
out again,
blimp
and you are
films.
afraid. Calls
One
from the
being
center of
2
the
Minute Warning,
darkness,
and the other
drawing
one
you
being
nearer and nearer.
Watching both of those movies in preparation
Black
for the
Sunday.
podcast
Pulling you
Yeah.
was a
towards the
sincerely
voices
bad
that
day.
praise all
But
the
I'm going to tell you something right now. I only
scream.
remember 2 Minute Warning. I don't remember anything from Black Sunday except for the end. That ending
Gradually
sequence.
shaking off the
Oh man,
shades of dreams.
re-listening to the podcast while I was editing it, things just came rushing back, and it was great. But yeah, at least you don't have to rewatch it. Like, that's already recorded. We can move on to Krull. We could just do a whole series about 1980s fantasy films. We get Deathstalker and fucking Conan and all that shit.
Lady Hawk, Willow, Dragon Slayer. We'll
Absolutely.
cover the whole
Oh, yeah.
thing. Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a new Willow coming out soon. We should.
we should definitely
get
do a
that
Willow
one.
before
A
the
whole
new Willow
episode
comes out.
comparing the two. Man, Willow of all things. Hey, maybe Krull is next. Maybe someone will scoop that shit up and do Krull. That would be amazing.
Maybe it'll be us.
I'd go see that shit in theater. Like, there's not a lot of things I'd brave the pandemic for, but I will definitely risk death to see the new Krull in theater, however bad.
You guys want to reboot Krull?
Oh, yeah. So, like, I want to do a lot of expanded Krull stuff. Like, sincerely, I want to do, like, 100 episodes of a deep dive into Krull's production. We could just call it Questions for Krull. And we just get as many people to talk to us. We get extras, uncredited stuntmen, everyone that we can. And then, like, an in-universe role-playing podcast set in the Krull universe.
Oh, God. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Krullcast. We're back. Ah, shit. Anyway.
We'll do a prequel podcast. I fucking hate prequels. Let's do one.
All right, everybody. This was the Krull episode. I hope you enjoyed it.
It was one of them.
This was the longest. We went crazy. We went ham on Krull this time.
It's been about half an hour of Krull today.
It's been about 30 full minutes of Krull.
And again, if you would like me to talk less about Krull, hard no. I fucking refuse.
We've spent about half of Krull's runtime talking about Krull today.
We don't get paid to do this. We pay ourselves in getting to talk.
We don't even pay ourselves. We are at a net negative. We are at a deep net negative on this show.
Oh, and not only do you not pay me to do this show, you couldn't pay me not to talk about Krull.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, if this is the thing that you needed to convince you to watch it, watch it. And if you watched it a long time ago and you're like, it was just fine, no, watch it again. It's really good. No, it's not good. It's great. It's great in its own way. Anyway, you know what I would have done here? You know what I would have done in this screen? I would have painted the top of the walls at the bottom of the screen instead of true trees. But hey, what the fuck do I know? I'm only a fucking artist.
That's true. They even did that in Quest for Glory 1.
Yep.
Man, I would love to get, if they're both alive, the actors who played Darrow and Menno on, and just call the episode Who Died in the Wide Shot.
Alright, goodbye everybody. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Give us
Krull Podcast Brewing.
Join us next time on the Krullcast. Leave your questions for Glory. Leave your questions for Krull. Give us some of your jokes. Just put whatever down there. You know we'll read it. We're a small channel, guys. You know, we'll do whatever you want.
Except not talk about Krull.
Yeah, except that.
That's mandatory.
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
So, unfortunately, Bill Weston, who played Menno, passed away in 2012.
Oh.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
I wonder if Bronco McLaughlin is still kicking.
But Andy Bradford, who played Darrow, still kicking. Still alive.
Well, that just means we can dedicate the episode to Bill Weston.
Yeah. That's fine. All right, Bronco McLaughlin. No, he is
It'll be sad if Bill Weston was the one who died in the wide shot, because he also died in the wide shot of life.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Bronco
McLaughlin. As do we all.
We're all going to die in the wide shot of life. It's just,
in the grander scheme of things, we all died in the wide shot.
Oh, God. All right. We'll see you next time, everybody. Leave your
Bye, everybody.
Questions. Just remember, we love you all.
Let's dedicate this episode to Bill Weston as well.
Okay. Can we fade to black, Luke? And can you put for Bill?
You got it. We're not even going to do the usual end card.
Seriously.
I'm laughing to the point where I can't really breathe, but sincerely, in memory of Bill Weston. That movie was awesome.
Bill Weston. In memoriam, the 10-year anniversary of his passing.
Fucking Bronco McLaughlin died.
Give or take however long it was, but...
Bronco McLaughlin died 2 years ago, and he's like, where the fuck's my shit?
We can't get Menog on to talk about his incredible quicksand death.
Bye, everybody. We gotta fucking get out of here. I gotta stop this.
I think we said bye like 6 times at this point.
Par for the course.